Coming up on this episode of Outlook TV, it's Carousel Theatre's first family festival.
Alberta, an evening of love and burlesque.
And Joan-E and Scotty's last Vancouver performance, and much, much more.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
And I'm Darren Manette. We'd like to thank the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh Nation for the honor and privilege of filming on their traditional unceded lands.
Outlook TV is the queer magazine news show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast.
Absolutely. And so I was lucky enough to go to Carousel Theatre recently and talk to the cool people there about the first family festival, which was really interesting. And I hope that it's not going to be the first family festival.
Hi everybody, it's Darren here with Outlook TV. We're here on beautiful Granville Island, one of my old haunts, and we're talking to the nice people at the Family Forward Festival. Say that 10 times fast. This is a new group that is putting together something because families, as we know, come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and styles. This is the first annual one. Let's go in and talk to the nice people there and find out how you can get involved and what they have in store for us. I'm glad you're with us. Thanks so much.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Family Forward Festival was an idea that myself and Jenica, who I run this beautiful organization with, have had for many years, which is during Family Day long weekend, we want families to appreciate time with one another through live performing arts. Because, you know, as a parent, I spend a lot of time going to things that my 8-year-old will like and just sort of suffering through them because he wants to go. But the intention of this festival is that it's fun for everyone. We have, obviously, a drag story time. We have screenings of 2 short documentaries about the importance of family and drag. We have the world premiere sneak peek of a play that we commissioned from Megan Gardner called The Gift Exchange. We have a storytelling event called The Family Flame. We have a concert with Nanaimo-based musician Bua. There's sort of something for everyone, I would say, in the mix. Drag is inherently an art form that really speaks to kids. Kids understand play. They understand dress up. They understand imagining possible worlds and possible versions of themselves. Some children have 2 dads. My household's a bit like that. I think we've been creating more and more opportunity for kids to be able to access things that they're curious about. And I think that's how we get our future generation of performers and our future generation of allies. And perhaps more importantly, our future generations of queer and trans kids who can actually see healthy, happy human beings living in their full color and full volume. I think that's important.
For Mama would come. But Stella had 2 dads.
Kids are going to see me and Peach Cobbla reading books to kids, having a little dance, maybe to some classic kids songs. What I like about Carousel is how much programming they do for families of like all different kinds, including queer families. So I would love to see more attendance and just like flourishing of the Family Forward Festival for lots of different families and queer families so that they have something to look forward to. More and more like generations of young people enjoying the programming at Carousel.
With this festival, for me, it's an entry point for people who've maybe never thought to go attend live performing arts, to experience something that feels comforting, that feels welcoming, and that makes them want to hold on to one another, be it biological, chosen, or otherwise. Family forward.
Well, that was fun. Diversity really is the key, and you know, more things that we can celebrate with family is a good thing. Thanks for joining us. I'm Darren for Outlook TV.
So next up, this story is super interesting. As per usual, we have cool stuff on this show.
As long as it's gay.
Yeah, totally gay.
Well, this is your chosen family skate on the long weekend, which is fantastic opportunity for people to come out and enjoy the ice.
DTHE, this tournament has everything, is a women, trans, non-binary, two-spirit inclusive hockey weekend held on the Sunshine Coast. We were lucky enough to partner with the Vancouver Pride Society, the Cutting Edges, and the PWHL today for a skate at the Agrodome. We're doing a Chosen Family Day skate.
We've seen a good turnout of little kids out here, and so it's a good opportunity for our players to connect with the little kids that are new to the ice, but also the adults that are new to the ice, and help everybody get around. And we've set up sticks and pucks at one end so they can try out shooting and playing a little bit of hockey if they haven't had that opportunity.
So there's 3 of us players out here today skating with the community, and it's been really exciting to be on the ice and interacting with everyone. And yeah, there's a lot of season ticket holders out here and people who come to our games, so it's just great to have them on the ice with us and to share that time with them.
Okay, we're time to take a break now.
Is it time already?
Yeah, the time's flying.
Oh, I'll be in my trailer.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
So now we're back in Alberta with Fancy, who produced an evening of love and burlesque.
Yes, it was a drag and fundraiser for SafeLink Alberta.
I love drag and burlesque, and the feeling is mutual. Tonight is a fundraiser for SafeLink Alberta called An Evening of Love and Burlesque, where some performers come together for a great cause. Let's find out more about tonight's event.
SafeLink reached out to me. I had expressed interest on a social media post saying that I'd love to support. I've supported SafeLink in the past through like my showcases and independently. So when they reached out, I said I would love to do it. And then I helped them find the other burlesque performers. I teach burlesque, so a bunch of them have taken burlesque with me. Some of them started with me. The community is pretty tight knit, and so there's a lot of overlap. We know each other, and so when they were looking for folks to fill out the roster, I thought about who I thought would value the message and want to be a part of it. I'm doing it partially by donation. Yeah.
So I am the current president of the ISCCS, so it was a huge honor to be asked to perform here for one of our charities with SafeLink. It's an incredible event. It's been sponsored by so many incredible organizations throughout Calgary as well as Canada, and it's just a great time. My performance tonight was I slightly misconstrued the fact that we were supposed to do love songs, and I definitely gave you something a little bit raunchier. Mine was called Rough and Ready Man, so... But you know what? All love's love, so it works.
I am the board chair for SafeLink Alberta. I've been with the organization for more than 3 years and became the chair in June, yeah. So, sort of new. SafeLink's been around for 40 years. Started as AIDS Calgary when that need really existed, where our community was really dealing with, some tough times and tragedy. We grew into HIV Outlink after that because we knew the need was growing out there. And a few years ago, we rebranded into SafeLink because we now serve communities way beyond just the queer community. Anybody that's impacted by HIV or STIs or bloodborne infections, we're out there. We're out there to support people, to fight stigma, to create environments where people can get the care and feel heard and be seen. So, well, SafeLink's been pretty important to me. I was actually on the board 40 years ago when it was AIDS Calgary. I'm an individual that lives with HIV, and I know and see the need out in the community, so I want to be part of that and represent them.
I'm an education coordinator, so we do education to businesses as well as the public. Surrounding topics like substance use, HIV, and universal precautions. SafeLink holds a lot of the same values that I hold. It's an amazing place to work, but it's also a place where I talk about the things that I am passionate about, both professionally but also personally. And I support populations that I care about and people that I care about, so my work and my personal life really gets to have a crossover.
A huge thank you to all the performers. My name is Sister Fancy Pants for Outlook TV.
Well, our next story takes us all the way back over to the Birdhouse, and I believe I've got this one. It's Trans Girls Raw and Uncut. It's a comedy show put on by Just for Laughs Canada.
Cool.
Well, hello viewers, you're in luck because today Outlook TV is here at the Birdhouse for Just for Laughs Vancouver, Trans Girls Raw and Uncut. So loosen your belts, laugh along, and enjoy the show.
Throwing out, giving a shit about straight people. I host and produce Laughs and Queer, which is a community-centered open mic, and this show, Trans Girls Raw and Uncut, which is the only show in Canada that is exclusively trans women comedians. From once I started the process about 4 years ago, I didn't want it to just be another comedy show. I wanted it to really be for the community. I wanted it to celebrate the community. There's so many little things, like I have a custom playlist of only trans femme hip hop. The music that everyone walks out to is all tailored to each person. There's so many tiny little moving pieces that over the last 3 years I've been able to just hone in, and now I feel like the show is really something really special to me and really special to the community because there's nothing quite like it. And when I started, it was the vision, day one, to have an all-trans girls show, just because that would have been amazing. And there just wasn't enough of us. And so that's where the open mic actually started. And so over the first few years of that open mic, we developed our own talent to make this show happen. And now we've got 13-ish girls that could be reasonably called up to perform whenever. And that, for me, as a producer, feels like beautiful. Like, that's really what I did it for, to see more community. And so I'm so stoked.
Designer pussy, or if I would have more of like an H&M snatch. Humor is so subjective. The only thing that's really off the table is like, let's try not to punch down, you know? If somebody is in a disadvantageous position compared to where you are, it's not really in good taste to make jokes about them. Like, as a transgender comedian, I actually like talking about the fact that I play hockey or I used to work construction, because these aren't things that are typically expected of trans women, especially trans women in the arts. What I would say to any queer stand-up comedian that is looking to start this journey is that the most important thing about stand-up is you respect the craft and that you work diligently at being the best comic you possibly can be. Respect the craft and it will love you back.
I'm a trans woman. That is a woman who used to be in my grandfather's will.
I think that comedy has this incredible power to get through to people who you otherwise might not be able to reach. Because when you're laughing, when something actually takes you off guard to the point that you let out a real verbal, audible laugh, you can't also be having your guards up, having your shields up. There's an authenticity in the audience as well as the comic that is magic.
Everybody calls me brave all the time. Like that faggy lion.
Come to our open mic. Let me know what help you need. If you've started writing, you want to workshop something. Maybe you don't even live in Vancouver, but you just have an idea. You're inspired by this. You're like, I just need to test something. Message me. There's so much richness that I've learned from it. So yeah, come on out. We're super cool. We love everyone. Please come.
While some detective points at my crotch like she's got a dick, you know.
I think what we gathered here today was that life is too short for cooked, circumcised jokes. So tell it all and tell it raw. I'm Emily Ann Fraser for Outlook TV Vancouver.
Well, we are ticking along. Time to take a break.
Ticking along.
It's moving.
Ticking along. Welcome back.
So now we're with Mike and we're in Surrey and we're just telling our stories.
Tell him, Darren. Tell him.
Good stories.
I want to thank you all for coming, because if we don't know our past, we don't know where we're going. And so many people today don't understand the horrors of what our community went through in the 80s and 90s. Some of you weren't even born back then.
I've been involved in collecting queer memorabilia from the Surrey Pride Society and the wider community since 2006. I've also worked with the City of Surrey Archives on Amplify as a amplifying voices. And I thought, you know what, we just need now to get the stories of queer folks in Surrey on the record as an archive so that it's there for future researchers or high school students, journalists, whatever, just to get it done. So this is a Surrey Pride Society project, but we will be donating all of the interviews to the City of Surrey Archives, and they will host it on their YouTube channel, so it'll be publicly available across the world.
There's definitely a lot of neurodivergence that goes on in the LGBTQ community, and I find that I just always got along better with, like, I don't think I have a single friend that's not neurodivergent.
So my role for the project was to conduct interviews with folks from the LGBTQ community who have a connection to Surrey. So whether that be they work in Surrey, live in Surrey, or volunteer, or just have any affiliation.
So I ran the Women's Centre in Vernon, actually, and I was always out with lesbians, and it just felt comfortable. And then one day a woman came to me and said, I don't know what your sexual orientation is, but I'd sure like to find out.
Women and Gender Equality Canada, and their acronym is WAGE. And so they have funded this project, and so I basically have to keep records for them. I have every 3 months I report in about progress and what we've done so far. But it's fantastic that Women and Gender Equality have seen fit to fund a project such as this.
I was very fortunate. In the last 10 years, I looked after a friend of mine who transitioned at 40, and she was 91 when she passed 2 years ago.
I think it's really important, especially for young people and the youth, to see where we've come, how far we've come. And it's also important to acknowledge that history isn't linear. So it's not always going to be like the past was not progressive and we're here now, so we are progressive, which is something I also took away from the project. It's that it's ebbs and flows. So because it's not linear, I think it's important to recognize that we can actually learn a lot from the past and pull the good from it.
Nobody ever outright asked me if I was trans. They just kind of went with it, which is so much better than what I'm imagining.
And just generally, we've had a good representation of people who were born in Canada, born outside Canada, and migrants like myself. We've had people who've held political office in the city, and yeah, quite the diversity.
And I watched so many friends pass away, and we understood the caution because of the unknown.
One day we'll be looked upon as very spearing our queer history and preserving it, which is so important during times where that's actively being taken away from us. So I'm just very proud to be part of the project and to be part of preserving our history. And I'm very excited for the future generations to look back on this and learn from us.
And our next story is a sad one to report. Angus has the scoop on Joan-E and Scotty's last performance in Vancouver.
Right. I heard it was called One for the Road, but it's not all that sad because they're moving to Scotland. Nice.
We're in Vancouver's West End, where two prominent members of Vancouver's LGBTQ+ community are making final preparations for a new adventure abroad. We're going to meet them tonight to find out what they've got planned.
I had a dream. I dreamed it for you too.
One day there was a gentleman by the name of Gary Penny owned a barn called The Demonstration. And he said, you know, Joan, I think that you should do this for a little money. And he gave me a bi-weekly show with Pearl to Apollonia. And then soon after, I got headhunted with Gary's blessing, and I moved on to the Odyssey nightclub. And sort of from there, I became a professional drag queen and went on to become a philanthropist, which is a fancy way of, say, fundraiser in the community, got involved, especially with the organization of the Vancouver Friends for Life Society. And then I became a corporate drag queen and was the future-friendly drag queen for TELUS, and did some film and television, and have traveled the world as they have dress will travel. So that's me in a nutshell.
And all that jazz I hear the father bit is gonna blow the blues. And all that jazz.
I've always believed that you go with your gut. It was my gut that made me stick with drag when maybe others said I shouldn't. It was my gut that brought me to Vancouver. It was my gut that made me think I could transition from shows and film and television and fundraising to the corporate world. And it was my gut that made me feel that it was time for me to go somewhere else.
One day as I was walking in morning Aberdeen, I saw a dog marching in
I was actually born in Scotland and immigrated to Canada with my family when I was 3 years old. I grew up in Victoria, and it was a great place to live, but around 18, 19 years old, I was kind of getting the itch for the bigger city, and I was sort of drawn over. So on my 20th birthday, actually, I moved to Vancouver. I have been living in Vancouver for 18 years. From a career perspective, I've been a marketing director for many years, working in digital and experiential marketing. I've also been known in Vancouver as being a community advocate and philanthropist, and I've been fortunate enough to host a lot of events for the community and also raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for deserving LGBTQ charities right here in Vancouver.
I don't wanna close my eyes. I don't wanna fall asleep 'cause I miss you, babe. And I don't wanna miss a thing.
I'm always going to treasure the years that I've had here, but for me, I just want to, what's next? Let's just continue to see what's the bigger, bolder, greater option of the life that I'm living right now.
Oh, Scotty's my dear. We're great friends, buds, and if we were nominated for a Grammy, it would be for Best Duo or Group. I know the one thing that I really missed when I was in Europe was him. And so when I came back and I'd made the decision, I thought, oh, well, what if I can finagle him into doing this? You know, I can be a little manipulative if I have to be. So we went for lunch or dinner or something, and I sort of started my spiel, and I don't think I had 5 words out, and he's like, oh, I'm ahead of you. My family's going back to Scotland. I want to be over in the UK. I'm in. Let's go.
There's so many songs about rainbows.
Oh, I'm terrified. I mean, what sane middle-aged queen who has this enormous sports system and you know, this safety blanket and quite a lovely just ups and leaves to go a place they've never been before with no job and I mean, who would do that? But you've got to take risks and you've got to take chances, and you can never just sort of, if you ever get to the point in your life where you're thinking, got to do something, then you got to find it and do it. So yes, I'm terrified, but at the same time, what's the worst that happens? The worst that happens is I come back with my tail in between my legs and I end up on one of my friends' couches for a couple of months or something. Well, hopefully they'll say yes to that, but now you got to try.
The lovers, the dreamers, and me.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt in Vancouver.
Da, 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 da,
Well, that's all the time we have left for this episode of Outlook TV, but as always, we come back with more stories.
Yes, we do. So check us out on all of our socials. And if you want to come and volunteer with us, that would be really cool.
Thank you so much for joining. I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
And I'm Darren Manette.
Stay fabulous, Canada.